So I was fighting out to get some mucus out. And you know how it is where you can kind of feel something and you hear my voice, right? You can kind of feel something, but you don't know what it is, and you're feeling just kind of like a very calm, but you haven't done any blowing your nose or pooping or anything like that, or brushing the teeth. And so I'm just like, okay, I know I have something there. It's just kind of stuck there. I have to figure out how to get it out. And so you start working your upper diaphragm. You start working in this part of the alimentary canal, and you're like snarking up, but not really wanting to swallow it. You're trying to snark it so you can get it to you can spit it out. But somehow it wasn't doing that, and it got caught somewhere in my throat. And then it felt like I kind of swallowed a little bit of it, but then no, my body kept working it out. I kept working it out. And I was like contorting in my face. And then I was just coughing and coughing and coughing and just really, and I got it out. And it was like a green glob, yeah. Okay? That's the demon that's in your body. That's what causes cancer, disease, chronic illness. That's the spells that are in your body. And so I really blew my nose, worked it out, and finally, yeah, it's gone. And so it was like, that's work. Now, I haven't seen any corn come out. I don't have to poop today. I had a few burritos yesterday and a little bit of chicken, but not too much. And that's all I had yesterday, with a little bit of fruit, but hardly that much. I wasn't that hungry yesterday. I was a little tired, right? And so I got off my computer around 3 o'clock thinking, I was telling my husband, well, I'm going to take a nap, hon, okay? He's like, okay. And I called him up, and I sit on the couch, and I'm now posting all this shit that people were freaking out over. And I'm just like, why is it that my body told me that I was tired, that I need to go take a nap, and then here I am posting all this stuff? I'm telling you, my body sometimes will fool me into thinking something, and then thoughts come to my head. Thoughts and ideas come to my head, and I'm like, okay, I'm being controlled by something. I don't know what it is. It's not a bad thing. It's just that you have a community of organisms in your body that really want to keep you alive, want to keep the world alive, and they finally have a voice in here when it was been stifled by your medical, holistic, and other practices, and under a spell. And I'm going to say this, I broke the spell. Now, I've talked about love and empaths and all of that before. That's not new, okay? What's new within the last couple of days is the whole beautiful worship. The beauty worship, the muscles worship, bioengineering people to look beautiful. Which is why I had to apologize for what I said about the whole Jilly Juice girl and picking out the prettiest girls. And nothing against them. It's not their fault. I'm not mad at them. It's nothing wrong with them. It's the fact that we have been programmed to look sexy, to look pretty, to look like Madonnas and whores. And that's where the confusion of the predators in our society are under the spell of confusion. They don't know if they should treat you as a sex object or as a freaking Madonna whore. And then the girl doesn't even know how to act. First she acts like a Madonna, and then you see what happens in Disney. She starts then acting like Britney Spears right now, or Miley Cyrus a couple years ago when she was swinging on that little chain naked. We have jailed our girls. We have jailed our sisters. Okay? Because we have been worshiping beauty and sex, and we don't value the women to have any kind of thought in their brain. It's all about the body and looking cute and getting people to worship you by saying you're beautiful, you're gorgeous, you're pretty, you're going to be a princess. That's all the Disney programming. Even the people who understand this, who are in the conspiracy world, that understand how Disney has programmed our women and our men, still program each other. They still rely on looking beautiful. They still rely on looking sexy. They still rely on programming their girls to look beautiful and sexy. And so now we have these young girls who are gorgeous, yes, are now being ogled by the predators in our society. That is what's insane. And so so when I point out the pretty people are the ones that are casting the spells, curses, and also giving the gifts, boy, did people come unglued. And a lot of them were in the religious world because their whole religion's about love, love, love. Their whole religion's about love of Christ, love of family, love of friends, love of community, to the point of death, to the point of where I read this on someone's Facebook. Give me one. I'm going to read it. I'm not going to type it out because I don't want someone just like, well, it doesn't matter. You have to know who I'm talking about before you know. And I'm not knocking this young lady because she's part of a huge religion. Huge religion. And her mom has gone to the hospital. She was saved by operations and whatever. And she's wringing her hands because this COVID is bringing up ear infections in kids, bringing up tonsillitis in children. Children are breaking their bones because of all the antibodies that are replicating and producing because of the exposure in the environment and the frequencies. That brings up antibodies too. Also brings up predisposed issues. So she goes, please pray for my son's ear. He woke me up saying it hurts after using a nasal rinse and he can't sleep. A nasal rinse. She's trying to detox him. She's trying to preempt a cleanse. And then guess what? The body's rejecting that. See, this is what happens in the holistic world. The mothers, people go overboard and they destroy their children. So please pray for my son's ear. He woke me up saying it hurts after using a nasal rinse and he can't sleep. It's a 7-8 pain. He took 2 Advil and I put hydrogen peroxide, oh my God, and a piece of garlic with olive oil and prayed over it. Please take the pain away. This is how you love somebody to death. This is how children are going to get destroyed by their own parents, by their own mother, by their own father, by their own caregiver. Because they don't understand pain. They're at deficits. And we're in a very highly dynamic environment. And so I broke the spell. Because I now understand the whole love programming. Which means that I recognize that I feel the ooze of that curse that some women, all women actually are under right now at this point. I'm going to say all women. And I'm going to say I'm probably the only one right now that is not under the curse of love and beauty. I'm just going to say it. So I said, what did I say? Give me 1 second. I want to read this part. I thought I had it under, but it's okay. I said love is rest in peace. But I'm going to find that because I thought I had it on my phone. Don't worry, I'm going to find that and then make sure I say it. There we go. Love equals rest in peace. Remember where love got you. Heartache, pain, bunch of stuff. Somebody died, your mom died, your dad died, whatever. You love them so much they died. And then you're out there going, okay, if my parents have died, I got to go and carry on the genetic line. And so then what do? You go and procreate. You put on the sexy outfits. You're like, I'm going to go get a man. You procreate. Here's your baby. That's also where love got you. Now you have a child that's in deficit that has your predisposed issues. That's a fraction, even more of a fraction of your potential. And they have they're going to have a hell of a time growing up in this society. And they're going to be in pain. And so now that love got you so much pain of watching not only your child grow up, but then you have to deal with your own stuff in a new world. So love equals rest in peace, because eventually it will. All right. How many people are taking their friends and family to oncology appointments? How many people are selling each other tinctures? How many people are selling each other essential oils and detoxes and antibiotics and taking them to holistic therapies to get acupuncture and all this other shit that's in the medical, holistic, healing, energy healing world? So many people. Oh, you're in pain. I'm going to go take it away. I'm going to be your savior. This is where all the religion came from and the love, love, love. You are in pain. I'm going to be your savior and I'm going to take away your pain until you actually are rest in peace. That's why the religion has the dove and the olive branch, because it is all about ending up in rest and peace. So remember where love got you, where you came from. Love is attached to dying and reproducing. Mothers, fathers, kids, friends, family do not respect each other at all. They love each other, but they absolutely have no respect because they never were taught respect. There's no boundaries. There's no understanding the bigger picture of how shit works. And so what do? They give themselves up to strangers with degrees. Or they find somebody on Facebook that doesn't have a degree, but they have the same concoctions and the same outlook of taking away the pain and say, okay, I'm not seeing a doctor or some whatever. I'm seeing now a friend who saw stuff on Facebook who knows how to take away the pain. I've followed people like that weren't a doctor. They had homeopathics and holistic people in their world, but they were writing out a whole thing of how they have a cancer cure and stuff. And we were passing it all around a couple of years ago. He was using so many freaking supplements. And he fancied himself a freaking god because he was a singer. Okay? And then selling organite. Oh, here, let me take away all the frequencies that are bad. So here's some organite. He made a lot of money on that stuff. So love is collecting souls. We've been programmed to love our friends and family to death. How many people have so many friends and family? That's collecting souls. When you have a big crowd of people that you hang out with, whether it's an association, whether it's a political thing or a big family, that is collecting souls. Okay? And then you have the kings and queens who blind your eyes and steal your dreams, the queen bees, the king bees, and they're directing traffic. And they're going to be the example. Oh, watch me, even though I go get all my different shots and all my different stuff. And then people around them are like, oh yeah, go do this, go do that. And then they follow the same methods that person is doing. So they're all going to the oncology clinic, getting all of their oncology stuff. They're all taking their tinctures and their antibiotics and their natural remedies and all that stuff. They're all getting their organs taken out. They're all taking their kids to get their spleen and their appendix out and their tonsils out and getting, putting stuff for ear infections. And I'm just like, now I see it. Now it makes sense. That is the Rosicrucian Hermeticism Greek system of developing gods and goddesses through the humors, through alchemy, and then exploiting people, capitalizing on that. That's the Western civilization. I don't even want to say that's even part of the Muslim, because I have no idea what they do over there. I could say it's part of China, but whatever. China just has whatever China does. We here, we're deceptive. China's just in your face. You don't follow us, we're going to go and re-educate you and torture you and whatever. Okay, it's not right. It's not for me to say, whatever. That's what they do, but they're fucking upfront about it. We in America, we're fucking deceptive. We are so deceptive that we don't even realize how deceptive we are until you break the spell. That's why Disney was so amazing, because he understood Sleeping Beauty, because he fucking wrote it. He understood Snow White, Cinderella, because he fucking wrote it. Mermaid, Little Mermaid. But here in the West, UK, all the West, Western civilization is all about deception and loving people to death and programming people to take their innovation, do all this stuff for 50, 60, 70 years, and then, okay, now it's time to die. And let's reinforce that programming by making you love someone. Remember, love can be taking someone to oncology, or love can be stalking, obsessive about someone because they look so beautiful and so well put together. And then you have these predators that don't have any boundaries, and they're stalking your child, they're stalking you. And that's why I said I don't want to be beautiful in this society, because the predators are out in fucking force. And people don't get that. We're in a dangerous time now. Everybody's programming, whether it's formalized or just happened inadvertently because of the programming, is coming to surface. And if you are a programmed siren, beautiful girl, boy, whatever, And there's some predator out there that fixated upon your body, mind, and spirit. Let me tell you, that's some dangerous shit. And children are also in those crosshairs of being exploited and being stalked by predators. And children now are growing up so fast you can't even tell how old they are anymore. They have become such little adults and programmed. You're like, oh, she's so talented. Because I saw one girl on YouTube. They showed a compilation of when she started doing the dancing, like a ballroom dancing, but in a more sexy way. When she was like at 2016, and she was a really young girl in 2016, they showed her as she was growing up doing the same dancing when 2016 to 2022, but then she finally grew up to be an adult that was contorting her body in a very sexy way. But they showed her as a child doing that, and people love that. But they don't realize that you are programming, you are instilling a sex programming. Okay, whether it's dance, whether it's makeup and selling something, or you can see all the different sexy programming that's out there. Okay, athletes. So we've been programmed to love our friends and family to death. We love our friends and family to death to the point we take away the life-giving pain. And that's what that person was doing to her son. First trained the son to do all this nasal wash. Oh, do the nasal wash, watch out for the COVID. And then kid has ear infection because now all that stuff that's trying to come out then went right into his fucking ear. Of course, mom doesn't know this because she doesn't know anything. All she knows is my kid's in pain, do all the stuff that's found in the holistic world, and now she made that shit worse. Eventually she's going to take her kid to the hospital because what else is she going to do? The kid's going to be in so much pain. And am I going to say anything? Absolutely not. Because one of their relatives was on my Facebook a couple years ago, part of the JJ world, and then she ended up in the hospital because she got off the J juice, of course, but did not understand pain and probably used more of the painkillers and ended up in ICU because of the COVID stuff. Because let me tell you, J juice will bring out the pain and then you will deal with it, you'll get it out, and you'll eat food, and eventually it'll be gone. But no, what people do is they do J juice, bring everything up, and then they're like, freak out, put antibiotics on it, try to treat all of their life-giving pain, and then they end up making their situation worse, and then they end up in the hospital. Not because of J juice, because they didn't understand. They had to deal with the fucking pain. They had to blow their nose. They had to ride it out. But can you tell someone who has so much deficit, they have to ride it out? No, so then they go to the hospital, and then shit gets worse, and then it'll be rest in peace. It'll be hospice sometime soon. And then that will translate and be passed down to the daughter, to the son, to the grandkid, to everybody. And that's how you take out genetic lines. So we've been programmed to love our friends and family to death. We love our friends and family to death to the point we take away their life-giving pain. Eventually, it's rest in peace. Oh, yeah. If we respected our friends and family, we would tell them they can survive the pain. They just need to eat, understand several concepts like your alimentary canal. But they're not taught this in the medical holistic industry. You'd rather have somebody else put their hands in your orifices. You won't put your hand in your own orifice. People are like, oh, Jillian, you're so weird sticking your fingers in your butt to pull out the poop. Okay, so you want some stranger? You want to stick foreign instruments in your ass, like enema situations, to go and take out stuff? Or do you want to understand your own sphincter, your own alimentary canal, so you can pull out poop if you have to, if it's stuck there somewhere? Do you want to always go to the hospital when you have so much mucus in your upper diaphragm? Or you want to learn how to take it out yourself by blowing your nose and coughing it out and fighting to get out the fucking evil spirits? See, we have it so backwards. We like strangers just putting their... That's why kids don't have any boundaries. Because the parents give their kids to strangers. People they don't know. Who then eventually, like the coach, Nasser, victimizes that child in front of the parent by being strategic. I watched some of that stuff what Larry Nasser did over there in the Gymnast Association. He was actually doing shit to the kids in front of the parents. That's how parents have been depicted in Hollywood and in Disney as really extremely stupid. And they wouldn't be fucking wrong because parents are not very smart. Obviously, if they're taking their kids to some coach doctor and the kid is being victimized right in front of them, they're giving their kid to the gymnast association, to the Olympics. They give their kid to some stranger in the hospital. They give their kid to some whatever. They give their kid to some doctor, to some daycare worker who they don't even know. They give their kids to everybody. and they absolutely, and then they, if they don't know any better and they don't want to give their kids to people, then they do stuff to their own kids. They ply them with so much antibiotics that the kid now has a monster now even 10 times as worse. That's why parents have been depicted as extremely stupid in Hollywood. Ferris Bueller, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, a lot of these movies. Excuse me. If we respected our friends and family, we would tell them they can survive the pain. They just need to eat and understand several concepts, but they're not taught that that are not taught in the medical holistic industry. Ask yourself why they're not taught this. The answer will not surprise you. The medical holistic industry, even your friends and family selling you fucking tinctures, is all a goddamn business. You don't realize that nobody is fucking benevolent. There's always a transaction in every relationship you've ever known. Though you think, oh yeah, I just genuinely love that person. No, you don't just genuinely love a stranger. If you do that, then you have no boundaries. If you genuinely love strangers, you have no fucking boundaries. You're dangerous. You'll put your kids in danger. You'll put yourself in danger. And that's not, I don't respect anyone that loves a stranger. I can respect a stranger and know exactly that I don't know who that person is. I don't know what they're carrying. I don't know what kind of proclivities they have. I don't even fucking know them. No, I'm not going to put them around my kid. And no, I'm not going to go and hang out with some stranger that I don't even know. But I will give people on Facebook access to me on some level to a certain extent. But do I love strangers? No. I don't fucking know you. How can I fucking love you? And if I did, why would I want to hurt you? Because that's love. Love is about death and reproduction. I don't want to have sex with a stranger, and I don't, well, my husband was sort of a stranger, but I picked that. But I don't want to, when we first met, I don't want to have sex with any stranger at this point, and I don't want to destroy a stranger. So no, I will not love a stranger, okay? And those that claim that they love strangers, anyone, and these are all like the religious folk. They'll love anyone. No boundaries. Absolutely not. And then the kids don't have boundaries. Just look at all the different missionaries that go to strangers' houses and go and preach the word of whatever. They don't know who's packing heat behind the fucking door. But they'll go and say, hey, go knock on that door and go try to convert somebody or take him to another country that is really like, Islamic or Muslim or whatever. And they're like, yeah, go in there and go try to convert all those people. And then these people end up being, kidnapped. And they're like, we don't want you to fucking convert us. And I wouldn't blame the indigenous population. But that's also what the holistic allopathic love, crunchy mama worlds do. So I don't even have to say anything about witches, warlocks, and wizards, okay? Because that will just take people down fucking J.K. Rowling and all that. No. It's all the deceptive, beautiful people in body, mind, and spirit selling you a dream of antibiotics, wealth, and longevity. Tony Robbins teaching you how to cast spells, NLP, how to mirror somebody, how to figure out how to get something out of somebody by using body language, words, methodologies. That's why Tony Robbins is so famous. Because, yeah, some of that shit works. It worked on me. People were mirroring me left and right. People next to me were mirroring me. They're like, oh yeah, I don't. When someone said, when this lady said that she doesn't like using the word love, because I didn't like the word being used, love, right? I didn't like the word love being used. And she's like, yeah, you see me, I don't use it anywhere, But she loves her daughter so much. She loves her family so much. She may not say love, but she does. It's okay. But she doesn't respect them enough to put anything interesting, to give them something different to work with on her Facebook. What is it? She's trying to convert her family and her friends who are resisting the conversion. Absolutely. When you try to convert your family and friends into the JJ world, they will tell you to go fuck off. And I would not blame them, because you're not a fucking example. You haven't put anything of worthiness to even why someone would do it. And that's why I say, when I want people to influence anyone into the world of pain and innovation, you can't just take it to your little group of people and be like, yeah, here's the next greatest thing, and do this and do that and blah, blah, blah. No, you have to go through the pain, and you put it out there on Facebook and say, okay, I just went through COVID and plus some other else that I've been dealing with. And oh my God, it was intense, but I got through it. When you give hope to people, okay? And I know I'm going to the whole hope and faith and change and all that shit, but when you give people an example that, yes, you survived some pretty aggressive stuff and you're staying home and you realize, and then I'm telling you, when you go through the pain, you're going to have words to say. When people don't go through the pain, they don't have any new words to say. There is nothing they can share. Because did they really go through the pain, or was it just another fucking cold to them that really didn't make any kind of mark in their world enough for them to be like, wow, I fucking now get where Jillian's coming from. Wow, all the antibiotics that was ever given to me as a child came up this last time, and this shit kept hanging on, and I thought I was not going to survive it, but I did. And why would I put myself through this? Because if I keep taking any more antibiotics and surgeries, I will then start myself back to square one, as if I didn't even know the JJ world existed and the whole life-giving evolution. And I'll tell you, many of my JJ crowd, except for potentially Audrey, has not even once shared how aggressive and what new thought process they have. They weren't angry enough. They didn't suffer enough. And it might take them a while. Some of them people suffer, and they go and do the JJs. Like, okay, I'll just do this once, and then they take away the pain or lessen the pain. And so then they have nothing to offer. When you take a cure, you don't evolve. You have nothing new to offer to anybody. Absolutely nothing. So it's all the beautiful people in body, mind, and spirit selling you a dream of antibiotics, wealth, and longevity. Since you love your friends and family, the beautiful people are also your friends and family. Since beauty is subjective, anyone that sells you any of those three items found a way into your heart. And when you're thinking with your heart, you're not very objective or discerning. And let me tell you, your friends and family use neuro-linguistic programming. Case in point, yeah, it's like casting spells. And that's what Hollywood does. That's what the religious pastors and rabbis and all the different, religious stuff, casting spells. And I'm talking strictly to Western civilization, because again, I have no idea what goes on in China. I've been to China, but I haven't gone through all they don't have that religion. They have Confucius, they have philosophers. Okay, so I can't even get mad at China when you think about it. China is not even going to be part of this, because they're like, hey, do this or we're going to hurt you. Okay, fine, I'll do that. I don't want to be hurt. Okay. But when you go into it, so yeah, I'm not going to mention Islam, because I don't know what goes on there. So when it comes to politics, religion, and science, science in the West, it's all about the deception of beauty. It's all about selling you spells and antibiotics and wealth and longevity, right? Selling you the dream of that. And it's casting spells. The West casts a lot of spells. And so, yeah, that's Hollywood. Politics and religion and science, because you hear also Biden and Trump, and they're casting spells. And you saw what happened when Trump was casting his spell of his oratory spells. Everyone went and converged onto the Capitol or over there in January 6th, okay? And so Hollywood. So how does Tony Robbins use NLP? Tony has adapted many NLP training techniques into his system, neuro-associative conditioning. See, what is neuro-linguistic programming used for? Techniques to focus on making behavioral changes. It can be used for a variety of different goals. And these are some of the tenets or some of the methodologies. Imagery, training, NLP, swish, modeling, mirroring, incantations. And then that's when I said love equals rest and peace. I was looking for that, but I couldn't find it, but there it is. Okay. And so Then a lady last night really reacted to this. Sometimes my mucus smells like semen and it smells yucky. So you have to see what semen is, the same thing as mucus. So you're seeding the planet with both your mucus and your semen. All right. Be careful of a beautiful person giving you a gift. They are casting spells and applying curses. Absolutely. They're trying to get something from you by giving you a gift. Nothing is benevolent. Nothing. People invest in people because they want to get a return on that investment. Or they wouldn't give you. I don't go and give my neighbors gifts. Why would I do that? Oh, because you're a nice person? No, then I'll be inviting some shit in my world if I do that. One neighbor I did give a gift to, a gift of wine a couple of years ago. And that was it. Okay? And I gave him a bunch of CDs that we didn't want. Because we knew that he sells stuff on eBay. And that's it. That's as far as it goes. And the person's a nice person. He's not crazy, as far as I know. And he's out here sometimes with my husband talking. Okay, I'm okay with that. But do I give all my neighbors any gifts? Do I invite all the riffraff into my world? Absolutely not. And so why did I give him that gift? Because we didn't need it, so we unloaded on him. So there was that, what we wanted out of that, and he made use of it. Okay, so it was self-fulfilling. It was a selfish thing on our end. It was just junk in our house, and he could do something with it. I don't sell stuff on eBay, but he does. Okay, so it was it was both quid pro quo. But when someone gives you a gift, you have no idea why they're giving you a gift. But they call it, oh, because I love you or because I respect you. But not really. They're paving. See, that's why if you don't know people, or if you have something that people want and they start giving you gifts, there's something going on there. There's something in the background that they're not telling you exactly what it is. And I learned that working with so many different people in the JJ world. Because we've all been trained by people trying to figure out finding the angle into people's lives, trying to make money and whatever. Trying to have you justify their religion, their politics, their scientific dogmas. Oh, let me tell you, I've been surrounded by those types of people all over the JJ world. The energy healing crowd and the religious crowd were so attracted to the JJ world. Okay? So that's how I come to know this, because I've had experience in it. I actually personally experienced all of the emotions around the people who cast spells on each other through the love. Okay? So be careful of a beautiful person giving you a gift. They are casting spells and applying curses. What are they selling you? What are they wanting from you? Ain't nothing for free. Generous people want a lot in return. The question is, what do they want from you? And let me tell you, that lady was incensed. That I had to actually take her off my Facebook because she couldn't get it. Of course she wouldn't get it. Nobody just simply loves anyone. There's always an ulterior motive. Absolutely. When I tell my husband I love him, what I'm saying is, I also say I respect him. But when I say I love him, it means that please keep going. Please keep moving, not only for yourself, but for us, so we can survive. It's survival, and it's also part of the whole marriage. You're supposed to love your husband and wife, right? You're supposed to. Well, of course, yes. Because some husband and wives, they do take each other over the fucking cliff. So there is a whole dying and reproduction. And yes, my husband and I do have sex occasionally. And so there's that. And so even though I don't want to take so much life force from him, I can't tell him not to. And he has hormonal urges, and I understand that, and I'm fine. My plumbing works. But I don't want to take so much from him that I end up draining the life out of him, which happens in some relationships where they have so much sex all the time, and then a couple years later they look like the crypt keeper because they've taken life force out of each other every fucking day. Okay? And they've done so much damage to their genitalia that some women get cervical cancer from that much kinetic energy to their groin area. They get ovarian cancer People get anal cancer. Do I want that for my husband? Absolutely fucking not. So I have to make sure that it's not too much and not too little. Do you see, I look at things not only hormonally and psychologically, intellectually, but also physically. Because I'll tell you, if a guy or a girl who is that hormonally driven gets everything they want, they will destroy themselves. You've seen it in Hollywood. The drugs, alcohol, and sex, and the prostitutes. Look at Charlie Sheen. Look at Heath Ledger. Look at River Phoenix. The sacrifices of Hollywood is when you have to go and you're given everything you could possibly want so you can go and perform and be an influencer, and then all of their addictions and their hormonal urges destroy them. Absolutely destroy them. And so, no, I don't want to destroy my husband. So I have to be very careful how much I love him. Okay? I've told him this a couple times. He's like, okay. He really doesn't get it. But that's okay. Okay, so nobody just simply loves anyone. There's always an ulterior motive. They get something from you. You get something from them. It's a quid pro quo transactional relationship. We don't live in Disneyland, Fantasyland. This is not like, oh, everyone's benevolent. We're all fucking Mother Teresa, just giving and giving and giving and taking and taking and taking, and everyone's happy, happy, joy, joy. If that was the case, then we wouldn't have the society we live in. No, people are destroying each other through love. This is a world of people who are a fraction of their own potential, and they love the people they need. You love your kid because your kid is giving you a reason to live, giving you social capital, giving you everything, giving you as a political exploitation. Oh, I don't give my kid a V or this. And so now their kid is being paraded around as, this is my kid who's all into the natural shit. And so parents even exploit their kids. So they love their kids because they need their kids. Because of the parents, if they didn't have their children, right, what would they be doing? But the reason why they have their kids is because they thought they were following a programming, and they were married, and now they're divorced, and now they're a single mother. And now their child is even more so important because now they're a single mother. You can't take that away. What do you mean you can't take that away? Once you were deemed a mother and you were in a relationship and that relationship didn't work, and now you have this child, now you're the hero because you're taking care of that child. You're the single mother. That's social capital. Oh, that's so cynical. It's the truth. How many single mothers out there who are all about taking pride in their single motherhood? And people are like, oh, you're a saint for being a single mother. That sucks that he was such a deadbeat dad and all this. And then the whole bashing of the other person. The whole bashing of the other person. And so even single mothers exploit their situation so they can feel good about doing what they have to do. Because I'm telling you, I wouldn't want to be a single mother in this day and age. It's fucking hard. So, and genuine is relative. So someone says, well, I genuinely love a person. Okay, what the hell does that mean? What is disingenuous love and what is genuine love? Who the hell knows? It's all relative to perception. And so then if you don't know if someone loves you or whatever, then it's all about hope and faith. You're putting faith now into that relationship. No, now you have to go and analyze the substance you bring to that relationship. I don't just say, okay, I'm with you because I just love you. No, I bring something to the table. Do I bring everything that my husband wants to the table? Absolutely not. Believe me, if he could have sex every single day, he would, but that's not going to happen. Well, actually, physically, because he's on the road. But do I want to have sex 40 times a fucking weekend? Absolutely not. So just because, somebody wants something doesn't mean that you have to provide it. Now, here's the thing. You have to now figure out what you are bringing to the table. Okay? That is measured in something substantial. All right? Hold on, I tell my husband I'm on Facebook Live. I'll call him later. I'm on Facebook Live. I will call you after done. Okay. And so you really don't know how genuine or disingenuous somebody is, and that's faith. That's the religion of worshiping your friends and family. then you lose objectivity. You must understand what you bring to the table and what they bring to the table, so you're not banking on faith and there's actually substance behind the relationship, not hope and faith. So if you have to defend yourself on my Facebook by saying, oh, like this lady Jewel, whatever her last name is, she's in a ministry and she could not understand this. But I knew when you're in a ministry and you're really heavily into Christianity, you're not going to understand that love is conditional. There is no such thing as unconditional love. Like someone said on my Facebook that was giving me some sympathy. Oh, Jillian, you weren't conditionally loved as a child. Oh, absolutely I was. Or unconditionally loved as a child. Absolutely was, and that was the issue. So she made an assumption because she thought that the way I sound cynical or basically woken up from the spell, that I wasn't loved as a child. Oh, that was the problem. I was loved as a child. I was not fucking respected. But you think that girl's going to understand that? No. So I took her off my Facebook. There's no such thing as unconditional love. Here's the thing. When a mother says, oh yeah, I love my kid unconditionally, I have unconditional love for my kid. No, it's conditional that the kid is your kid. If that kid wasn't your kid, then that would be that you wouldn't have unconditional love for them. So that love is contingent upon that kid is your kid. Okay? And so a mother's love is not unconditional. It is conditional. And you can say, well, they could do whatever they want. Yeah, that's the thing with mothers and fathers. When they love their kids unconditionally and the kid murdered someone and was convicted of it, and they say, well, I love you, but I don't respect your stuff, but I will support you. You committed a crime. I don't support that. You committed a crime. If I was a mother to someone who committed a crime and I had no boundaries and I loved my kid unconditionally and I gave them all the antibiotics and everything else, and that kid ended up being a husband that murdered his family, and then I woke up one day and realized all the errors of my ways and I'm apologizing, but my kid's already programmed to be a killer and all that stuff, and he goes and murders someone, and now that kid wants me to support him in the courtroom, I will say no, because I don't support that. I respect you enough to say that I don't support that. Well, what does that mean, that I don't love them? I'm not trying to have sex with my kid, and I'm not trying to destroy my kid. I want that child to realize that I don't support behavior such as that. That was never my intention, was to turn you into this. Now you have to reap what you sow. You murder someone, you have to be in jail. When you intend to murder someone and all that stuff, you have to be in jail, and you're not getting support from me. So yeah, I wouldn't go to the courtroom or to the case or visit my son or daughter in jail for doing that, because then I would be supporting them. Then I would be loving them and then destroying them. And they're not taking accountability. Maybe my absence will make them realize that, wow, holy shit. And maybe they'll find a way to change in the jail cell. Maybe if they're in a life sentence or whatever, or they get possibility of parole, who knows? And they realize to err their ways, and they finally get an awakening, and then they're able to convey that to the parole board, and then they're able to get out and change their life and who knows what. That's great. And then come back and say, now I understand, Mom, why you never visited me in jail. Why you did not support me in the court. I understand that. But see, people who are under the spell of love would not get it. They would just hold that over your head. You didn't love me. You said you claimed you loved me and you didn't know that. People do that all the time. They use love as a weapon, as a bargaining piece, as a way to make you feel guilty. If you love me, you do it. If you and it's a manipulation. So the whole scenario of of me not visiting my son or daughter in jail because of a murder would never happen, because I'm not having kids. And I would not raise a fucking killer. I would purge that demon out of their body way before they even get to that point of even thinking about hurting somebody else. Some people are raising killers right now in our society. Some people are raising homicidal maniacs right now in our society. I even met a potential one. And I felt the energy, and it was crazy. This child was saying he was going to cut his mother's head off. He was going to do all this stuff because she challenged him. And he did not like being challenged. And you could see the lack of emotion in his face. You could feel the truth in his words. So when he's big enough and someone crosses him, yeah. Some people are raising homicidal maniacs right now. And I've met one personally. So it's not always the CIA developing the crazy people. No, we have parents right now who don't fucking get it that are raising homicidal maniacs. And they have some cognitive issues. The kid does. Major ones. But can you tell that parent that? No, she'll come unglued. She will fucking come unglued. So I just leave it alone. Left it alone. So again, if you have to defend yourself on my Facebook, you're into converting and trying to defend something that should not need defending. If you don't believe what I believe in, then scroll. Who cares? There's no reason to react, or there's no reason to say, oh, you have an issue, or I disagree, because who gives a fuck? We're all gonna goddamn disagree. Go and promote your own shit on your own Facebook. But people deserve to hear another thought process without someone trying to convert them into the other thought process. Sorry, but I'm not into religion. I'm not into anyone converting me, okay? If you truly believe the opposite of me, then the truth needs no defense. People are afraid to hear a different perspective around love and friendship because that maybe it's actually true and they can't look in the mirror. But then they can turn around on me and say, oh, well, you're afraid to hear my perspective. I already know your fucking perspective. You're going to defend that I'm wrong. So I already came from the opposite of you, so there's no reason to send the ball back because I'm not playing the game with you. We're not in a relationship where we're trying to convert each other. No, I'm throwing the ball out there and leaving the ball to stay out there to bounce and bounce and bounce. But I don't need the ball returned with another thought process that's the opposite of me, because what's the point? I'm not trying to be converted. I have no question about what my convictions are. The reason why you're trying to convert me is because you actually have questions about your convictions. Your convictions are not substantiated enough for you to sit on your own Facebook and promote them and back them up with your own proof or whatever. That's what I learned, that when I'm not sure about my own shit, I'm on people's Facebook trying to convert them. Oh, I see exactly what I've done with people do. People are now really predictable and transparent. When you finally break the spell, you will see now where I'm coming from. And it's scary as fuck. It is scary as fuck when you finally break the spell of the love. If you know exactly your relationship, then you are under a spell of quid pro quo. And that's not necessarily bad, okay? Because relationships can be spellbinding, absolutely. But it can be a curse if you feel locked or trapped. But before you get locked into a situation, make sure you understand what kind of relationship you're in. Sometimes it's okay to be locked in a situation. I like my situation and I don't feel like I'm locked in it. But I mean, financially and physically, survivability and all that stuff, I'm locked into this because I need to be. I don't want to fucking die out there. And I also respect the situation I'm in. Okay? So we're all under some kind of spell, curse, or gift. It's just a matter of who we're trapped in, are we trapped in it, or can we strategically get out of it when the time is appropriate? Well, I'll tell you, death is where you escape relationships. So some people do escape the curse by committing horrible acts to themselves and other people when they're in something they're trapped in. Instead of just getting divorced, they destroy their own family. They're a family annihilator. Most people know exactly what they'll get from me. A little unpredictability and a very different thought process. And so I think I'm as genuine as they come, but someone could think totally differently. So, okay, whatever. So what I think really doesn't matter because somebody else could think something different. But I think I'm genuine. But you won't know that until you get to know the way I communicate. And that's going to be hard for people who are all about love and flowers and all that shit, because I'm not love and hearts and flowers. I truly am not. And so I am completely questioning every single aspect of our society and our relationship with people, place, and things in politics, religion, and science. And so I just ask, be open to my perspective. Okay? And so if you're a huge gift giver, there is a psychoanalyst behind that. And maybe you don't want your secrets revealed. Giving gifts is like investing in something that later on you will ask for something in return when it's appropriate. It's like putting that relationship on layaway. You keep giving payments to it, you keep giving payments. Eventually you will get that coat. And now what are you going to do with that coat? You're going to sell it, you're going to exploit it, you're going to go and add some more stuff to it. That's the people who give gifts, who are all generous, is they expect, and that's me too, when I'm generous enough to give my time to so many different people, okay, and they're not doing what I want them to do, I get pissy. That's why I had to release all the people in my relationships, because they weren't giving back what I was giving them in the way that I expected. And so yeah, so if they're going to invest in me and they don't get what they want from me, they don't get all the money and all the shit, okay, and then I invest in them and the time and they don't, then then the relationship fails because everyone has unmet expectations. And so then you really have to realize why you are in these relationships. I know exactly what my husband and I offer to each other. We already outlined the division of labor. We already figured out financially how we're going to do shit. I know biologically what he needs. He knows biologically what I need on some level, or what I don't need. And I also need time and space and the stuff to do my work and all that stuff. He gets it. I got to take care of my dog the way I need to take care of my dog. He gets it. Okay? So there is substance behind our relationship. It's not all fucking hearts and flowers and fantasy shit. No, we don't do fucking selfies every single day and show how we're partying all the time and everything else. No, there's some real actual work being done too. Okay, I got my stuff going on. I got thought processes. I got things that I'm working on my own that is independent of him that he doesn't totally understand, and I get that. But I'm still going to work on my stuff because I'm still an independent person that needs to develop herself independent of her husband and of his world. That's what women need to understand, is they have to develop themselves independent of all the people around them. But they don't. They keep giving and giving and giving. And then when they don't get back, or they feel so used, then they become bitter. And so, like I said, what sweet medicine is deceptive and bitter medicine tells you it's poison. Yeah, women poison themselves. People don't invest in you unless they want something from you. They just don't know what it is yet. I knew exactly what I wanted from my husband, from Jason, when I first met him. I wanted a husband. I wanted to develop a life, figure out whatever it is, and work from there. Didn't know exactly how it was going to manifest, because there's no way you can know when you're in the trucking world. He was like a landscaper and a snowplower, and I was in the insurance world working for agents and just selling people insurance. And we weren't getting anywhere. It was bullshit. So we went into the trucking industry, and then we wanted to see the world. And so I was on the truck with him 24/7 for a few years before we were killing each other. And then eventually he ended up, getting a team driver, and then he had the wheels spinning for days and days and days. We made a lot of money in 1 year. Okay? In 2013, when he had a team driver, and he was making $2,500 a week. That was a lot of money. And we wasted a lot of money too in Florida. And then now we figured out a happy medium. He's gone for a few days. I'm used to him gone, so I can develop stuff. He comes back. We figure out some stuff. He has his own stuff with his boating and his fishing. I have my own thing with the JJ world. It works now. It's not always perfect, no. Believe me, it's not always perfect. But it works, okay? So I knew what I invested in. And I invested in him. He invested in me. And we have relative tolerance. And we're not always going to mommy and daddy and friends and family to go and fix our shit or bail us out of bullshit. I put a kibosh on that. I am not about using people to pick up where I've miscalculated. If I have to go and tear my deck down, I'm not going to go and ask all my friends to go and tear my deck down. No, I should not be exploiting my friends and family that way. Okay? But you don't have any friends and family, Jillian. Well, that's a fucking point. I have acquaintances and all my friends, right? All my friends or whatever, people that are aligned with me, they're on Facebook. Because nobody in my world really gets it. Except for my husband, kind of. And he is financially tied to me as well as marriage-wise. All right. So the Greek system of Western civilization is hormone replacement therapy and bioengineering. Beauty equals bioengineering. We can honestly come by it honestly and earn your clarity. So you can come by it honestly. You can have the beauty and the clarity and all of the things that I'm doing right now on your own. You don't need a team of bioengineers, a team of homeopathics and naturopathics, a team of ghostwriters, a team of illustrators, okay, to then put out this image that's not real. It's not you. It's other people's work. See, that's our society, is that we've relied on somebody else to always do shit for us. And then we sell it as if it was our own. No. But that's the whole thing with, well, you have to now go and write down who the illustrator is and who the author is. So you give them credit. You got to credit the people that have contributed to you. Okay, I've done that. Just like when you're taking quotes from a lyrics or quotes from a book, you have to credit that author, that whatever. Well, I'm going to write my own book. I'm going to edit my own book with a very loose editing program. I'm going to illustrate my own book. I'm going to maybe buy a picture for the cover of my book and pay $50 for it. So it's already 3,000 or 300 DPI. Okay. And I'm going to do it all on my own because I can. That's the freedom. When you don't need people around you to contribute to. I can contribute to myself. Now I want people around me to then develop themselves. And when you're paying people to make you look beautiful or make you look smart or make you look whatever, that's no different than Hollywood setting off a false image. When you have Erica Jane using a ghostwriter to write all about her life, why doesn't she write about her life? Because she doesn't have that skill set. She's a performer. Okay. Well, that's when someone has been pigeonholed into a performing career where they're only good at one thing, and then they go and sell an image of being a good writer. But that's not really being deceptive, because her lifestyle is what they're selling. Her journey, her storyline is what they're selling. Well, I want to see who this person is, not the image, not the well-developed, managed image. I want to hear her words, how she puts them together. Can she put a fucking sentence together? We don't even know. We just see the image she puts out there as far as her performance. Okay, anybody can look sexy. Just get some plastic surgery, a bunch of money, and then there's a whole controversy of some stuff going on with her husband. But I want to see the intelligence. I don't want to look at and worship false idols. That's what false idols are when you're paying for all of your shit. And so many people are bioengineered babies or go through hormone replacement therapy to look beautiful as well as plastic surgery. And in my culture, the Vietnamese culture, they worship money. I'm sorry, but they do. I realized that after a few years of getting to know my own culture. It's all about the princess, the love, respecting and honoring the elders. I get it. I mean, that's bred into some cultures. What I'm advocating is completely the antithesis of my Vietnamese culture. Completely the antithesis of the Jewish culture. Christian culture. Any of these traditional cultures, my thought process is completely diametrically opposed. There's no way I could be part of anyone's world. Italian culture, Catholic culture. I am actually questioning and being and totally the opposite of every single religion, politics, and scientific dogma out there. So what they don't realize, here we go. So many people buy bioengineered babies or go through hormone replacement therapy to look beautiful as well as plastic surgery. What they don't realize is the downside of the side effects. Just look at Hollywood and the rich women who have done so much plastic surgery and hormone replacement therapy. And yeah, we have beautiful men that are LGBTQ, okay, that bought bioengineered babies. They're beautiful. And so oxytocin and estrogen can make someone so beautiful when you're doing hormone replacement therapy, right? Softens the features, makes you look a certain way. But the downsides of always implementing and cultivating the estrogen and oxytocin doing hormone replacement therapy then has all the side effects that are attached to it. Okay? And so that's the trade-offs when someone is buying beauty. When someone is buying that as used to use as a spellbinding type of hormone magic. So they can attract people to their situation, to their politics, religion, and science. And so they have a team of intelligent people around them to make them sound and look smart. When you can afford the best intelligence and biological engineering money can buy, it's not hard to come off as a god or demigod. And that's where now I understand where the gods and demigods of the Greek system, Zeus and Ares and Aphrodite, those are all mythological. They might be giants, okay? But they were programmed biologically using the humors. They use different things, different alchemy to bring up specific programming. And so when you want a beautiful person, well, it's the imagery of here, look this way, here it was bioengineer you this way, and we'll add some hormone replacement here, and here. And now you have someone who is a siren. And then they go and have sex, and then all that oxytocin, all that stuff, then makes them look fertile, look like they're a demigod. And so that's why young girls who are all about the sex, they look cute. They're selling their boobs. They're selling their sex. They're selling their emaciation. It's not difficult to see the programming. They're under a spell, but they don't know it because that's who they are. Until they realize that doesn't lead to balance, that eventually they're going to suffer from that spell that they're under, from that curse. But if they're okay with dying, then they're not going to think of it that way. They'll just keep going. They'll go to oncology. They'll go get all their different injections. They'll do all that stuff. And then they turn into someone, if they have the addictions and the issues, like an Anne Heche, or they just outright die, So we have a lot of beautiful women out there that will be beautiful for a certain amount of time, and then Mother Nature will take her due. And that's the name of my book, When Mother Nature Takes Her Due, and She Will, The Age of Reckoning. It's when will she take her due? And so I can't even promise immortality to people, because I could say that you can escape not dying from natural causes, because that's something you can control. But I mean, if there's a huge tornado, then you're not immortal, because if you're in the middle of a fucking tornado and you happen to be caught unaware and the house fell on you like a wicked witch of the east, then there is no immortality there, because you're fucking dead. But as far as natural causes, yeah, you can definitely sidestep dying from natural causes. And that's the main thing people die from, is natural causes. I mean, yeah, there's freak accidents like car accidents and plane accidents and weather accidents, but those are fewer and far between. People die from, for the most part, is natural causes, heart attacks and strokes. And so we'll have beautiful people who look beautiful for a certain amount of time, and then they die from a heart attack, stroke, natural causes, or they take themselves down notch by notch with antibiotics. And so then it's predictable. But you have to buy in that you've been programmed and you are suffering. And you're using your kid as exploitation. Because you were used. And so the layperson who doesn't have much money or access to resources doesn't know they can actually become symmetrical, balanced, and extremely intelligent. But they have to work for it themselves and come by it honestly, not buy it, purchase it because they can't afford it, and then suffer the side effects and consequences. And so actually a poor person who has access to food and salt and water for the most part initially, but has access to food, has the space and time to heal or to deal with the symptoms, and they're not being pressured into all the trappings of social capital and hanging out with people and events, they can get symmetry, and they have Facebook or they have the internet, and they can read about everything they could possibly want. Let me tell you, when you go onto Google, you could read about John Milton, you could read about Oliver Cromwell, you could read about Queen Victoria, you can read about the ayahuasca retreats. There's everything you could possibly want to know on the internet, on Facebook, on the Google, and you can feed your brain fucking intelligence. And then you won't be filling your brain with the activist stuff, because guess what? You're increasing your intelligence, you're increasing your innovation, you're feeling the pain, and you're becoming a whole fucking person. You can't buy that. That's something that is personally developed. Let me tell you, the superficial women and men out there try to buy that shit. They try to buy the image. And then when you want them to put a fucking sentence together or get on Facebook Live and say something, they don't say fucking shit. The beautiful people in our society are deceptive. I'm sorry. I'm fucking sorry. But now I have to totally turn the tables. It's easy to regurgitate an activist type of thing. It's easy to be an activist. Someone already gave you the words, the arguments, the script. It's easy to be a religious person because you have the script there. You have people telling you and feeding you lines every day. We have kids that have parents feeding them lines every day. So it's not difficult to be a brainless person that's being filled with a script. Now I want to see actual development, real raw fucking intelligence. And you're going to stumble, you're going to look bad. Let me tell you, I've been down that road. But you know it's a process. But you have to find a way something to focus on. It's not just, again, glorifying pain. But it's talking about yourself, yes, in whatever way you think is appropriate. And also finding something. If you don't want to talk about yourself all the time, go find a formula. Like, go find E=mc squared. Go look up some physics equation or theory and understand it. And then be able to talk about it. Let me tell you, when I learned all the different laws of physics and laws of biology and laws of this and laws of that and theory and the inverse square law, and let me tell you, worlds opened up when I actually chased information, chased concepts, basic concepts. When I understood the positive and negative, when I understood electrons, neutrons, protons, when I understood astrophysics, worlds opened up. And if you can talk about that on Facebook, then it's not all about your issues and facing it and being a little Jillian clone. Okay, it's okay to be a Jillian clone for a minute just to kind of get you comfortable, give you some hormones and some energy. But then it's about finding something that you would ordinarily would not study, and then you understand it and you can articulate it in your own words. And so it's diversifying. You have to diversify, people. That's how you increase your intelligence, is diversification. And so, yeah, it takes money to make money. But it's also ingenuity to be authentic. Okay? And so that's where I'm going to end, because I want you to know that we have been under the spell of love and sex. The porn industry, the family, all of that. We have been under the spell of love and sex. And politics, religion, and science are predicated upon love and sex. And they have pigeonholed people. They have trapped people. They have tortured people through that. And now it's time to break the spell. Now it's time to break the spell. And I support you in breaking the spell when you're ready. And it's painful. But anything worth doing is worth doing well, and you have to face the pain. Or you'll be sweetly deceptive and poisonously bitter. And I have met women who are bitter. I have met women who are deceptively sweet. And they try to call me beautiful. And it irks me. I had some lady one time a couple years ago. She's like, "Hey, beautiful. Hey, beautiful." It just rubbed me the wrong way. It was deceptive. Or always giving me gifts. No, no, no. When someone is like that, your gut tells you there's something wrong here. Something going on here. Get the fuck out. All right.